Okay, welcome to JC Connect. In the previous class, we were discussing about some of the water quality parameters. So there, um, we also discussed the um, the dissolved oxygen. In the dissolved oxygen, um, it is very important component. Okay, this is an very important component in water quality determination of the water quality. See, um, why this is play a very important role. The reason behind, um, with help of this dissolved oxygen, with the help of this dissolved oxygen, um, we will we will determine the what extent what extent the the water is polluted. The measure with the help of measuring the dissolved oxygen. Okay, we will um, see that suppose if the saturation DO, see normally the dissolved oxygen will vary from 0 to 14.2 milligram per liter. It will vary from 0 to 14.2 milligram per liter. Uh, Suppose if it goes below less than 2 milligram per liter, then there is water is polluted. Even if it goes below 4.5 milligram per liter, 4.5 milligram per liter, we can say that the water is polluted. Okay. See, this is an indication of the extent of water pollution. So that is why it play a very important role in almost all the water quality parameters. Okay. See, this oxygen. What is this dissolved oxygen? If the oxygen that is penetrating from the atmosphere to the water, so then we can call it as the oxygen is dissolved in water. Then it is um, proportional to the temperature. Okay, DO is inversely inversely proportional proportional to DO is inversely proportional to temperature. If the temperature is go on increasing, your DO will decreases. If the temperature is go on decreasing, your DO will increase. Okay. So DO versus temperature. DO versus temperature. If the DO is increasing, your temperature will decrease. That is the one relation always you have to remember. So that is why in boiling water, DO will be very less. In cold water, it will be more. So the saturation DO at 0 degree centigrade, it is 14.2 milligram per liter. Okay. At 35 degree centigrade, you can find it is 9.2 milligram per liter. So with the help of this, we can understand that. So DO is inversely proportional to the uh, the temperature. Okay. Even it can be produced with the help of the photosynthetic activity also. See, the what the plant will do is that plant will take carbon dioxide and it will releases the oxygen. With the help of that also, we are going to increase the oxygen content in the atmosphere. Once the oxygen content in the atmosphere is going to increase, so definitely um, the even the solubility of the oxygen in the water is also going to increase, and it is also depends on the turbulence creation in the surface water. If the turbulence is more, okay, if layer by layer, if it is moving in the surface water, so then the whatever the oxygen present in the atmosphere, so that is going to dissolve in that water, and it will increase the oxygen content in the water. And very important thing is that you remember it should not be more also. So because the oxygen above, um, for our human body we require 6 to 7 milligram per liter. So even if it is 10 and 12, you are not supposed to take it, because too much of oxygen is also dangerous, because it is corrosive. It is corrosive in nature. You might be knowing what is the corrosion process. Okay, so iron plus oxygen, if it is going to combine, so then it will form Fe2O3. So this Fe2O3 is nothing but the corrosion process. So iron corrosion process. Sometimes even a blood also iron will be there. Even in oxygen content in blood is also required. So if any imbalance is going to happen in these two, okay, definitely it is going to affect. Okay, so iron is also very important and oxygen is also important, but it should be some always a limit is there for each of these parameters. Iron, we already discussed that in the previous class, that we say that iron should be 0.3 milligram per liter. It should be 0.3 milligram per liter. Then we are going to determine um, this in the laboratory with the help of the titration method. Okay, we are following the titration method to determine the that is oxygen, that is oxygen that is uh, present in water. Okay, so normally the method of determination, that is Winkler's method of determination of DO in water. Okay, the method is the Winkler's method of determination. So then the main significance is that it is necessary to know that the DO level in assess the quality of the water. And I already said that. Okay, it is used to assess the quality of the raw water and to keep check on the stream pollution. Okay, a minimum DO of 4 to 5 milligram per liter. Minimum DO of 4 to 5 milligram per liter is desirable for the survival of aquatic life. See, this is very important. I already said that higher values of DO, higher value of dissolved oxygen that is present in water, definitely it will cause the corrosion in iron and steel. Okay, so I already said that equation, that is Fe plus Fe, N is going to combine with oxygen, that will form Fe2O3. So it is nothing but it is the corrosion. It is the corrosion process. It is the corrosion process. So drinking water should reach in a DO concentration for good test. So DO test is used for to evaluate the pollution strength of domestic as well as the industrial waste. Okay. So overall, you can assume that um, if sufficient DO is not there in water, if it is less DO, if dissolved oxygen, you finally conclude that the water is polluted. Okay, so that is one indication that if less DO in water, you say that it is polluted. Okay, normally it is less than 5 milligram per liter, and it is also measured in milligram per liter only. The unit is milligram per liter only. Okay, so this is the importance of dissolved oxygen in water. Okay, so then we completed the physical characteristics, we completed the chemical characteristics, and we will move on to the bacteriological examinations or bacteriological characteristics or biological characteristics. So this we can call it as biological characteristics. Biological characteristics. So when you say it is a biological characteristics, always we'll talk about the microbes. Okay, always we'll talk about the microbes. When it is microbes, so we have mainly 4 or 5 classifications. So that is bacteria, virus, fungi, algae, and protozoa. So these are 5 main uh, classifications in uh, the microbiological examinations or microbes. When you say it is a microbes, always we'll talk about the bacteria, always we'll talk about the viruses, always we'll talk about the fungi, always we'll talk about the um, viruses. Always we talk about all these 5 members. So then bacteria. So you have good bacteria also there and you have bad bacteria also there. But when it comes to the viruses, very dangerous. Okay. In fungi, you have good also it is there and it is bad is also there. Okay. Then algae, you have good also it is there, it is bad also there. In protozoa, good also it is there, it is bad also is there, because in some of the food products we'll use some of the good fungi. Okay, and will bacteria, for example, curd it is made up of bacteria. So um, um, that bacteria is also responsible for producing the curd. That is a good bacteria. Okay, and one more that we'll discuss here. So the E. coli. So what we are talking about, this E. coli is a bacteria and it is a bad bacteria. Okay, it is a bad bacteria. Why? Because um, if it is there, you can find that uh, there will be a we can call it as a dysentery or a loose motion. Definitely, it is going to happen if this E. coli is there in water. If you drink it, okay, definitely immediately the loose motion will start. So then you can assume that this E. coli is there. Okay, this you can call it as Escherichia coli. Okay, then if fungi, always some of the diseases now you are hearing in the news is that it is a white fungi, black fungi. Okay, these are some of um, the bad fungal infections are going to happen in the in your skins, and they are all the bad fungi. And algae also, in some of the case, in some food products they will use it. Okay, then identification of bacteria is a very important thing that constitute a coliform group is necessary to determine the nature of pollution. So what is this coliform group? We say that. See, coliform means, say for example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bacteria are assumed that you have 6 bacteria are there. See what it will form, that it will form one colony. Okay, it will form one colony. So then always we will identify this bacteria in water with the help of a colonies. Okay, with the help of the colonies. So that group we can call it as coliform group. You cannot observe this on a single bacteria, but we in some microscopic examinations, definitely you will observe. Definitely you will observe some of the um, bacteria. Definitely single bacteria you can observe and you can identify it. Okay, even the high end equipments, if you use it, definitely you can identify the all these bacteria as well as the viruses. But always this, whatever the microbes we are talking about, we will identify with the help of the colonies. See, colonies means if all 6 or 7 bacteria are there, it will form one colony. Okay, it will observe, like you can observe like this. Okay, so then we will count it as, see here also you can find, if this is the area, suppose assume that uh, this is one area. Okay, if you are observing the bacteria, so you can find the some of the colonies like this. You can find the colonies like this. You can find colonies like this. Okay, then what we will do is that we'll count this as 1, we'll count this as 2, and we'll count this as 3, and we'll count this as 4, and we'll count this as 5. So like that. So this is the colonies group. Okay, or we can call this as a coliform groups. Okay, if you observe all these things, okay, see, if observe all these things, you can say that water is polluted. Then how in the laboratory we are going to conduct it? So what we'll do is that we'll take one plate, okay, plate that is transparent plate, that we can call it as a Petri plate. Petri plate. So in that Petri plate, we'll some of the media will spray it. Media means that is a food for the bacteria. Food for the bacteria. We'll spray the media, or in nowadays the pre-fabricated media will be there. Always the media will be already sprayed. Then what you have to do is that you have to spray a water sample which containing the bacteria. You have to spray a water sample here. See, once you spray it, and if you keep it for incubation means you have to give a good environmental conditions or controlled conditions so that the microbe can be grown. Once you in incubation, normally in incubation what we'll do is that we'll keep it in BOD incubator for about 35 degrees centigrade. Okay, so this is a good condition for the growth of the all microorganisms or the bacteria. Okay, once you keep it for about 24 hours, sometimes up to we'll keep it for 48 hours. So then you can find the colonies like this here. In the media, you can find the colonies like this. You can find the colonies. Then we will count the colonies. So it represents that if the whatever the water, if you are finding in that water, whatever the water you have used for spraying here, that itself is a sample. Okay. If you are finding any of these colonies in that plate, in that Petri plate, so what you can say that the water is polluted. Water is polluted. Suppose if you don't find any of the colonies, okay, if you don't find any of the colonies in this Petri plate, then you can say that the water is pure. Even if you keep it for 48 hours, or if even if you keep it for 62 hours, or even if you keep it for 10 days, if you don't observe any colonies, means the water does not contain any pathogens, or water does not contain any microbes, because in water E. coli should not be there, and other viruses and all those things will not be there. Okay, see, most of the viruses will observe in the atmosphere, not in the water. The water body, it is very less, but bacteria will be there, remember. Okay, fungi, it will be there in the atmosphere. Fungi you can find in the water also. Protozoa you can find in the water also, and the algae also you can find in the water also. But viruses will always retain in the atmosphere. Okay, so that is why we will conduct one kind of MPN test to determine the this coliform groups. Okay, to determine the coliform groups. Okay, so based on this MPN, what we'll do is that we'll say that whether it is good for the water is good for the drinking or not. Based on the MPN test only, we are going to decide it. Okay, so then these are the characteristics, the physical characteristics and chemical characteristics and biological characteristics. Okay, so physical characteristics: turbidity, temperature, color, taste, odor, solids, and electrical conductivity. So chemical: pH, acidity, alkalinity, chlorides. Okay, so most of the parameters we discussed. Okay, most of the parameters we discussed. The chemical BOD and COD, we will have the discussion in the next semesters. Okay, because these are also chemical parameters. As for now, we can understand that even BOD, COD are the parameters to indicate the pollution of the water. Okay, in the water, if it is polluted, if any of the with the help, if any sewage, if it enters to a surface water body, if it is polluted, Then if you want to determine whether it is polluted or not, then we have to conduct this BOD test as well as the COD test. So these are the tests for the indication of the water polluted or not. Okay, that only you have to understand at present. Okay, then most of the parameters we discussed. Then we were discussing about the biological parameters. Okay, so then bacteria. So bacteria are considered as the single-celled parameters. These are all single-celled plants, their cell structure, and they have food there in the food also. I already said that. Okay, bacteria occur in a three basic shell shapes, that is a rod shape, so or the bacillus, or it is the spear or spiral. Okay, it is observed in these shapes, three shapes. Okay, so in less than 30 minutes, a single bacteria can mature and divide into two new cells. Okay, 30 minutes, less than under some of the favorable conditions of a food supply, temperature, pH, and bacteria can reproduce so rapidly that the bacterial culture may contain 20 million cells per ml after just one day. This is very important. You can say that. Okay. See, 20 million cells per ml. So 20 million per ml in within a one day. Just you can see that how much it will reproduce. See, that is why even you can find even single, you cannot find even single bacteria. Always you can find in the colonies. In the colonies you have millions of bacteria will be there. Okay, it is in terms of micron scale. Okay, you require a microscopic examination. So then this rapid growth of visible colonies of bacteria on a suitable nutrient medium makes it possible to detect and count the number of bacteria in water. I already explained how exactly we are going to conduct it. So nutrient medium is required to detect and to count the bacteria in water. Okay. So bacteria that requires oxygen for the metabolism are called aerobic bacteria. So we have two types of bacteria, three types. One is aerobic, anaerobic, and facultative. So aerobic, it will survive in the presence of oxygen. Anaerobic, in the absence of oxygen. Facultative bacteria, it will survive both presence and absence of oxygen. Okay. So the remaining part of this, okay, bacterial examinations, we will have the discussion in the next class. Okay. So I started 5 or 8 minutes early today. Okay. I'll share the recordings. Just go through once. Okay. Just go through once, and we will have the discussion in the next class. Okay. Thank you. Then we wind up the class.